Alright, we're recording. If you have questions, just hit me up with questions. You can type them into chat. If you have a mic, fuck it, feel free to join in. We're going to be looking at part 3 of how I do it. We're going to focus more on the setups that I use. And we're going to take a look first at inlines. Inlines, the indicator you see with the yellow lines. Let me change how I'm sharing my screen real quick so you can see the settings. Alright, now let's see. Okay, cool, now you can see, because before I had it set up so you can see MT4, but it wouldn't show this. Okay, so inlines, the first thing I look at when I'm doing a trade is, right now I'm set up to take 30 pips. We zoom out one, 30 pips is kind of unrealistic. Actually, it's not too bad, because here's our previous swing high over in this area right here. So 30 pips would just be pushing it. Let's say you want to trade, though, the 30-minute chart. Let's take a look at a 30-minute chart. Still puts it there. Let's go to a 5-minute. And we're zoomed out pretty far. But look on a 5-minute. If you were trading this, you'd have to be zoomed out like this to see. And you can't see where that swing high, swing low is here. So if you were on, for instance, a 5-minute, you might want to consider going to the indicators, going to inline, and changing it back down to maybe like 10 pips as a target. Remember, on the slower time frames, you're going to catch more of the waves. The higher time frames, the waves that are built in, are going to be spread out farther and farther. So like a 10 pip target on this would be really easy. Now let's zoom in a little. So here's a 10 pip target. You can see it barely looks like anything. That's just a tiny little move. If we were looking, we have, and I put an M30 on here since we're going to be taking a look at some smaller time frames today just for fun. Here's an M30 here, so what we'd wait for on the 5-minute, and I'm going to focus on some 5-minute charts if y'all don't mind first, just so we can get in some setups. This candle close here is our most important thing, because our M30 is what's holding price from going up. And again, this is 5 minutes, so it's not going to be super reliable as it is up on the 1 hour. But everything here is set up perfect. We have nice momentum going up. That's our first rules. We want green, itchy. Let's go back to the names I used. Mr. Krabs is the purple, blue is Timmy, faster moving, slower moving. So this is closing above it. As it looks, we got about 1:30 left, so we can prep for an order. Everything's lined up for a perfect trade. Now, your entry actually could have been down here somewhere. We're going to go for a short 10 pip, so what we can do is either, we'll show a simple one first. I'm on a demo, so let's bump up to, let's go to 0.1. This is about what a $100 account can get you in to be kind of safety. I would say the pullback is right here, but just for purposes of let's get some trades in so y'all can see them, yes, I would wait on a pullback, but for right now we're just going to show the concepts. Here is our pullback. It closed above the pullback, and then we would have been in this trade up to here, which is about 10 pips. So this candle here probably would have closed the trade out right here. But we're going to say this is our pullback, and we're waiting. So this is not closing above it. We got 10 seconds left, and it's not closing above. So we would hold and wait. I'm going to show a simple one, and then I'll show a laddered one. So again, it didn't close above. So we'd wait. We'd want to close above. While we're waiting and talking, any questions on the setup and why this is a valid setup, what we're looking for? So I know some of y'all might be new to Itchy. Do you want me to go over the rules again for Itchy, since this is primarily what I use? Basically, is what we want is a green cloud. From here forward is the forward portion of the cloud. We want this green if we're going to be taking a buy. It means we do have some nice momentum going up. You can think of these as, all of these are just fancy EMAs. We're on a 5-minute chart, so I'm not going to be too picky. If I stretch out the chart like this, then it looks better. but I'm trying to show a little bit of room on the inline so I can see how far it has to go. I guess that works right there. So this is with a 10 pip target. What I'm focusing on mostly is price closing above this, and then we have nothing blocking it from moving up 10 pips. See how we have nothing else? If you start throwing other things on here like Murray Math, whatever, I'm going with just plain support and resist on the 1 hour because I find that works the best for me without overcomplicating it. Oh, sorry, I'm yawning. Let me get a little more coffee. Okay. So basically, we wait for it to close above there. If it does, we can either just do a buy. I'm going to be showing 0.1 lots today, which is about the equivalent, I believe, of having a. You could do this with about a $100 coin. Quick question: that inline ND is that set? Is that to set stop loss? No. Inline is just to show your target. So right here, down is 10 pips, up is 10 pips. I'm on a 5-minute chart, and typically my target would be about 10 pips. It just lets me visualize what I want my target to be. Instead of looking like, if I take it off of here, let's say I take inline off. So now I want to know how far is 10 pips. If I want to see up 10 pips, I'd have to do this, and I have to measure up 10 pips. And then I'd have to say, okay, yeah, it's good. So instead of me doing all that crap, I just have it set up so the inlines is there, and it will show me my 10 pips. Like this is 30 pips. So from where price currently is down to here is 30 pips, and up here 30 pips. For me, it's just a time saver, plus it lets me visualize really easy. Does it have a swing high, swing low to get over? Does it have a resist or support line to get over? So if we go back in, we can do it again. And let's say if you want to do 15 pips, it would be 150. And you can change the color and how it is. So like this is a 15 pip target. Even for me, a 15 pip target right now on a 5-minute looks okay. But you see how easy that makes it instead of having to freaking do this and measure, well, it looks like I can get 20 pips. For me, that it's just so much simpler and it's a time saver. Plus it helps me identify swing high, swing lows that I might have to get over. Just for the hell of it, let's bump out to, see, M30, it still looks good. H1, this is right here what we're looking at. Here's the H1, and this is the swing high, swing low we're worried about. You see how it closed right on top of it? Because it's identifying it there. So this would have been a maybe get in trade for me because of that. We still have the cloud here. And most likely you could have gotten in this for 1%, but if you want to play it real conservative, you'd wait for the close because it's got plenty of room to move up. Let's go back to the 5-minute real quick, and it doesn't look like it's going to close above it. Let's flip through a couple real quick and see what we can find. I'm going to bump to 5-minute on all of them. So here's one coming out of the cloud, and we are looking at, I don't know how many, so this is another 10 pip move. So if we use inlines, does it have anything to breach? There's a small support and resist here. You can see it by Syncospan or Casper. That it would have to get through. You see how I'm using inlines just to quickly determine if it's going to run into trouble dropping? I'm looking, I know these are scalping or intraday. Even on the 1 hour though, I'm not looking to sit in a 5-hour trade. I'm looking to be able to get in and let it just drop within an hour or two and me be out. Like, for instance, yesterday where I got burnt, I was in a, I think, Nzd Jpy. I don't remember the pair, but I let it run towards the end of the day, and the spread went from 1.3 to 30 pips, and I got stopped out. So I always, and I guess this is a good time to bring it up, if you're trading intraday, you always want to end before the freaking Asia session kicks in, because that break between U.S. close and Aussie and Asia going full blown, the spreads on most brokers are going to go outrageously high. Even Euro USD, things like that, they'll pop up from where it is now, like 0.9. They'll get up to nearly 10 pips at some point as that transfer takes over between the two sessions. So that's definitely try and have a target of winding up your trades before the end of your session. You don't want to let shit run overnight, or what you'll get is a a spread spike, and it'll stop you out. Even of a perfectly timed trade, it will stop you out. So for this one, just for the hell of it, let's take a look. Let's bump up to 0.1 so you can see what the money management looks like on that. Again, 0.1 should be fine for a $100 account. We'd be waiting. This candle here did close outside of the cloud. I typically wait to see what the next candle does on the shorter time frames. On the hourly, I'll jump in if everything's clear. Oh, sorry. Let's go ahead and, just so we can see money management wise what happens here, I'm going to do a sell. Or maybe not. Auto trading. Okay, so the sell's in. The take profit, I don't even remember what I have it set at. I think it is set at 10. Or this might be set up for the other one, but you can adjust your take profit real easy. Let's say once it's set, all you have to do is grab the line and move it down to where you want it. So there's my take profit adjusted. Let's look at money-wise what's happening here. So right away, I'm already negative $6 off of, and how many pips up am I? So 5 pips. So basically what you're looking at is at 0.1, it's $1 per pip. So this would be, I would say, with a $100 account balance, a 0.1 trade size is what you'd be looking at. You may want to go a little more, well, that's a 1%, I believe, if my math isn't wrong. So if you do a $100 deposit with 0.1, you're looking at about $1 per pip. Now, knowing that, you can know if you go to 0.2, that's about $2 per pip, 0.3, $3 per pip. When you get up to 1.0, it's about 1.0, one lot, it's about $10 a pip. So I had questions on how much money is, what does money equal in Forex. So hopefully that'll answer a few questions. So, and we're on GP, we're on cable. Let me get a drink of water. Okay, so one of the important things you'll notice here and that you need to notice, can anyone see what's wrong with this trade? And I don't mean the trade on the chart. Fundamentally, like, there's one thing missing that was not put in with this trade. And this is something you need to notice, because if for some reason it doesn't happen when you place a trade, you need to immediately correct. Tony got it. No stop loss was put in with this trade. I normally run my script which does my stop losses. There's no stop loss on this trade. You need to make sure you're aware of that. Every now and then your EA is going to bug out and you're not going to get a stop loss, or maybe you don't have, I don't know what, but if a stop loss is not put in, you immediately need to place a stop loss. Because let's say, for instance, you're new, you forget you're live, and all of a sudden there's news coming, and you forgot that there's news, and news spikes up this way. It can literally wipe your account in 5 seconds. So the first thing you need to do whenever a trade plays is go down here and look. Say, here's my symbol. Yes, it's in. Price, stop loss, take profit. My take profit is in, but my stop loss is not. So what do we want to do to get a stop loss in? Let's just, for now, we'll set it at 1.5. And how did I get to that? Just so you know, you can do it 2 ways. You can click on the order. You can right-click the order to modify it. You can double-click down here. We want to get a stop loss in there immediately. So we're going to go with... Trust me, when I first started on this, I got burnt because I would make mistakes like trade during news. I would get it in, and yeah, my EA would be on and running, but my stop loss wouldn't appear. Every now and then, it's not 100% and it's not perfect. You need to make sure that the stop loss is in there. Stop loss, again, you can modify a stop loss. It's drag to modify. It's very simple. So if you throw your stop loss in, do it quick. I mean, pick a number, say, oh shit, I forgot my stop loss, and you throw it in here. It doesn't matter. Then you drag it down to where you want it to be. So let's say you're going to use Mr. Krabs is your stop loss. You drag it to where you need it to be. You need to get a stop loss in immediately. If you place a trade without a stop loss, correct it immediately. Because again, if news hits, you are fucked. Other than that, like I said, this wasn't an actual trade. On 5 minute, if this was an hourly, I might take it, but on 5 minute, no. I like to, again, I like, on the 5 minute, I like to confirm that it's actually going the way I see it. Any questions on that? This was just basically getting a trade in. We're going to look at some more setups here in a second, but stop loss, take profit. Always verify them as soon as the order is placed that it's there. Visually, you should see it on your chart. You should see a stop loss and a take profit. If you see the stop loss here but don't see it on your chart, zoom in. Most likely something's wrong and it probably placed it way the hell out there. But for Forex and protecting your account, that's your first step. Place trade, verify stop loss, take profit. Close the trade. What do we have to do is just hit the X here. You can let it run, but again, this isn't one because the cloud wasn't there. So let's go ahead and close that. That's why I wanted to do demo today, because I want to be able to screw around a little bit. Let's see if we can find some. I'm going to bump to 5 minute on each chart, and we'll look for see if we can find any setups. Okay, so here we have a nice green cloud up. Do we notice anything about the chart, though, on the 5 minute? What's your opinions on this? Would this be something you would get into? Because we have the green cloud. Crabs, Timmy, Casper, good. Here's H1, it broke through. M30, broke through. But do we, candlestick wise, and I know there's rules and then there's reading the chart itself. Looking at the chart yourself, is this something you would jump into? Kind of ranging, consolidating after the point. It's like it ran out of energy busting through these two levels, in my opinion. So you could get in, but remember, since it's consolidating right here, it could drop back down or it could go back up. What I'm looking for personally is I'm looking to see that price action's reflecting the momentum that's being shown here. If it doesn't reflect it, I'll just move on. Again, I got, I think, like 20 some, almost 30 pairs open. I guarantee we're going to find at least one setup as I'm clicking through this shit. So be patient. The biggest thing I could say that I struggled with switching from EMA to Itchy was I would have a by the rules setup, but the chart wouldn't confirm the setup, and I was jumping in a lot of shitty setups. So that's one thing that you'll get used to that will take some time. Like, for instance, if this candle here, and we already can, and I know this is kind of retarded, but this here, I would look for price to shoot up and close above this point here, and then I'd probably get in. We're on the 5 minute with a 10 pip target. We have nothing blocking it. You see what I'm looking at? It's sputtered out here, and then we might have a candle starting to move forward again. So my point on this one is you can run up to 30 pairs. Just wait for a good setup. If you wait for a good setup on this, and you'll realize it after a while, you're probably going to start trying to use it. If you do try and use it this way, you'll use it, and you're going to get into some perfect itchy setups, but shitty PA setups. And you'll start seeing it. Like, for instance, with this one. Let's go ahead and... This isn't almost, but let's go for it. We got the candle change color. On the 1 hour, for me, this would have been okay. And it's no stop loss, so how do we do our stop loss? Again, I'm running normally scripts. So, oh shit, I forgot a stop loss. So let's just do 0.702. Because that's the quickest thing I could think of to get a stop loss in. And where did I put it? Jesus, I put it way down somewhere, I think. Okay, you see how I just threw it in? I couldn't find it, so what do I have to do? Drag it up. Again, don't worry about it if you're just throwing it in. All the idea is to get it up on there. If we're doing 10 pip here, right here, I typically will set my stop loss, and this is on the hourly at the base of either Kumo of, God, I can't even talk. We'll go with Crabs or Timmy. So I can take my stop loss for now up to here. That's actually outside my 10 pips, but again, I'm rusty on the 5 minute. I did the 5 minute, the copy button, occasionally. I honestly prefer to manually do most of it. Once the trade's running, I'll let everything else take over. I'm not running the EA's running, but it's set up for the scripts right now. I'm just trying to show because a lot of people aren't going to get into the ladder trading. I'm trying to show just the one-click trading today with some decent setups. So we had this, what I'm looking at here on this one is we had this candle that moved up, and then this candle changed color, and it's moving up. So I can, this is, if I had to rank this, I'd give it about a 60%, but I want to show that it looks like price is starting to move up. Take profits right here. I'm not going to get into the trailing. We're just going to look at setups today. And then for the fourth one, we can do everything. It's just if I show it on the 1 hour time frame, it's going to be boring as shit, and I'd have to probably start and stop the webinar at the top and bottom of hours. Otherwise, I'm not too sure how to even do an hourly, how I really trade webinar. If I'll take suggestions on how to do it. So the 5 minute's going to be a little bit erratic, but at least let us get a couple examples in. Any questions on this one? We threw the stop loss in. Even on the 5 minute, you can see it's not a fast mover. Our take profit's only there. Let's see. We'll come back to this one. Let's look for a couple more setups. It's demo, so we can let it run. Now this one is, just looking at the chart real quick, is this tradable, no tradable? What are we lacking here? Big hint. No trade. It's flat as hell. Right here, it's flat as hell. If this was an hourly, exactly, it's ranging, so we can just skip that pair. If we were to look at it, here's our inline. What's it telling us if we were to get into the trade? For price to get from here to here, what's the problem there? We have a wall to break through right there. Cool. At least, I just want to make sure y'all are getting the idea of how I do this. This one's got a little bit more trend on it, but a thin cloud, but it's going momentum, and then it went red and little. So this one would be risky for me. It is on an H1. Let's take a look at it. For some reason, I'm running 10 pips. Let's look at the 30 pip on it just for the hell of it. And we'll be able to take a few more trades. So 30 pip move on this. This is a 1 hour time frame. A 30 pip move on this, and you're going to see the difference. Sometimes a 30 pip move on your chart's going to look huge, and sometimes it's going to look tiny. That's based off of the candle sizes. So right now, this is a 1 hour chart. We're breaking through the H1. If this closed above, which it's got 6 minutes left, so we're going to say it's going to close above. So we'll place a trade and we'll come back and check. Stop loss, let's throw it in real quick. If you want to see the copy as, there you go. And let's actually 137095. Let's do it that way. Here's my stop loss again. Now if we look, it's clearly above. Take profit, let's move it up a little bit, because remember this is set up for ladder trading. So I move my take profit up to there. It's that simple if you're not using an EA. It's drag and drop on everything with stop loss and TP. I do highly recommend using an EA, but for now, since we're focusing on setups, for this setup, weak setup, if we zoom in one, it looks horrible. If we zoom out one, the cloud's weak. I'm just taking it because everything other than the cloud was fine. Casper, Timmy, and man, the crabs, Timmy, Casper are good. We have nice upward momentum. If the cloud was bigger, we would be fine. And hopefully it'll hit up there. We're going to come back and look at these and see what happens on weak cloud, strong cloud setups type. This one, opinions. Is this just a pass, or is there anything to look at here? Cloud is ugly. It's a pass. Just move on. It's green, and then it went red, green, and then it went red. Correct. We got ranging on it, so it's a pass. Let me drop to 5 minute on him. Every time we pass on one, I'll drop to 5 minute. And we'll take a look at it on the 5-minute chart. Okay, so 5-minute chart now. We've got a nice green up, pull back up. We have nothing blocking us. Candle did close above everything right here, so our entry would have actually been this candle. But for the hell of it, let's do it. This is a valid setup. Entry candle would have actually been here, though. Not this candle, but this candle. The big one. We would have wanted to get in at the beginning of this, so that would have almost given us our 10 pips. Everyone understand on that one? We were like 2.5 minutes short of finding it. So for a 10 pip move, we had it easy right up to there. This one closed above, so this would have been our entry candle. Good. And most likely, let's see, our entry candle would have given us, even if we take it from the top, that was a 12 pip move on one candle. That's even on the 5-minute. I mean, if you're getting into it, guys, I recommend do it on the 5-minute because you're going to get used to the pattern repetition and the movement. The pattern repetition and movement on the 5-minute is going to replicate itself up to the 1-hour chart, and that repetition is what you want to get in. You want to get the repetition in, and you want to get the feel for what is a good setup and a crap setup. Itchy-wise, this is a great setup. Movement-wise, this is also a good setup. So we're having matching. We'll come back again. So we got 3 trades running so far, and you can see well, we'll come back on them. Here's 1 hour. The cloud right away for me is a no, so it's bumped to the 5 so we can see if there's anything we can play with. Okay, so this looks almost like a mirror image of the previous chart. Is this an enter or no enter? There's one different thing on this one. The M30 was broken and closed above, but we have right here. Let me draw. The hell's my drawing? What I'm looking at then is I want price to close above right there. So this candle, if it closes above, we'd be in. Reason is we're looking at that swing high, swing low. Your indicators aren't always going to give you everything you need. So these support and resist aren't going to give you everything you need. So in 147, 45, I don't really want to sit and watch, but I might have forgot to change some of the pricing on the other ones. Yeah, I did. These are 0.01 trades. I'm trying to do 0.1 lot sizes on these so you can see what it looks like with a $100 account. So we can do buy, because I'm going to come back to it later. What we're going to, and I'll mark it so that I remember that if that candle closed higher, we'll see if it would have been a good trade. So we're looking at this candle. It's got a minute left. If it closes higher than here, this would have been an entry. We'll come back and look at the difference between a good entry and a bad entry too. Anyone agree here this is a good or bad? For me, this, if on an hourly, this would have been good. I would have held off on entry until this was breached. The pullback would have been here, and then the pullback would have had to go through this level, so we finally would have been coming out to a good trade here. So waiting for the pullback, it had to get through H1, and M30's on here because we're dealing with smaller time frame, and I want to have some more resistance on here. Typically, my M30 wouldn't be, so my entry would have been this candle here. But just trying to get it. Did it already close the trade? Yeah, it already took profit on the trade. So I guess we're good there. And it didn't even... we still have 22 seconds left. Let's keep going. Last questions. Once I get through a couple samples and then y'all have an idea how I'm doing it, we'll get through it. So this one, this is 1 hour. Cloud looks like doggy poo-poo. It is red, green, red, green. We're ranging hard there, so we can just skip that chart. This one, for some reason, I don't think is... it might be drawing right. Let's check it on the 5. It's all red, but it's in the cloud. Price is in the cloud. Yeah, I'm recording, Jason. Price is in the cloud, so it's just a skip. It's a no-no. Let's take a look at it on the 5-minute and see what it looks like. 5-minute, we've got green, goes into nothing, green, red, green. So this one, trending, ranging, opinions? Ranging, good. If it wasn't ranging, what would be we what would we be waiting on right now? M30 was broken. Here's an H1. If we were trending hard up, what would we wait on for this trade? We have plenty of room above here, so what would we be looking at to get into this trade if it was trending? Okay, the close above previous high. Yeah, we're going to pretend. I'm just trying to get setups ingrained into the head. If this was a solid green cloud up, we'd be waiting for it to close above the previous high, which is basically the H1 resist. This area right here is what we're waiting for it to close above before we jump in. So once it gets through this area and closes above it, we could have a yes to jump in. Good luck, Jason. But it's ranging, so we wouldn't mess with it. Okay, so this is 1 hour, and cloud is ranging. Again, you should be able to look at these real quick. Green, red, green, red, green. We know it's ranging. Pass. M5, let's take a look at it. Now, if you see this on an M5, I probably would jump onto it in TA. This is red, red, and we're going green and red, so we're starting to range here. So for me, this is an indication to jump to a TA chart. 5-minute itchy that looks like this, I'm going to be jumping to a TA chart. This is a no trade on 1 hour and 5 minute though. We're ranging. Here is 1 hour. This one's a little bit uglier. Any opinions on this one? We got a cloud coming down. This right here, even on a 1 hour, worries me. See how the cloud's real thin? Are the candle? No, they're not. That's it's a change of the overall sentiment on MAs. I'm cheating by not having MAs on there by having the color candles change. So that's why you'll see sometimes the cross like this right here. This means the MA was crossing back and forth. It didn't have any actual direction. I don't like having MAs on my chart. I am going to show some baby step setups in a minute to get y'all going on smaller time frames. So I do have like a baby step method that you can use. It makes the chart messy, but everyone sometimes likes a few extra indicators. This one, trade or no trade. This is 1 hour. Would we touch this? And let's adjust inlines too so we can talk about it real quick. Okay, so here's a 30 pip move. For me, this is a no. We did have our pullback here, but this cloud just scares me. I don't like trading these thin little clouds because they can flip to green almost immediately on you. Let's check it out on 5 minute. On 5 minute, what would this tell us immediately? This chart is a good chart to go to. It's not really because we have this, but where should you be watching this type of chart on? Itchy or TA? Cool. We can see real quick how this will let us know it's a TA because it goes red, green, red. It makes it kind of easy. I mean, I do like Itchy for the fact that I can use Itchy to judge right away whether I want to be on TA or on an Itchy chart on it. This one is a creepy looking one. This is 1 hour, but the cloud again is tiny, tiny, tiny. We went green, red, green. Remember guys, with 30 pairs, be picky. Don't push it. Just be picky. Some days you're going to get just like with TA. Some days you're going to get a lot of setups. Some days you're not. Let's say we have a huge fat green cloud coming out of here, and let's go to the correct 30 pips. Let's take a look at the setup itself, though. Okay, so imaginary big green cloud. We have shit ton of momentum up. This red cloud's not there. Here is our candle. This would have been entry here. Here's our H1. So entry would have been right here. If we are looking for entry here, and I know this is getting repetitive, but I want to make sure everyone understands. If we are looking for entry on this particular, at this moment in time, what are we waiting for on this? Okay, scroll the pullback. Alex got it. You're right about the pullback. Yes, you would want to wait for a pullback. We're pretending we want entry. We want it to close above D1. Even if after a pullback, I know I'm mixing in things. Pullback is your best answer, yes. But we're looking for the D1 to close above the D1. It has nice momentum, and personally, if I saw a close above D1, there's nothing around this. What I would do is I'd zoom back out once, if we see, here's our area concern right here. So if it closes, we have a pretty decent chance that it's going to run if it closes. The concern I have is this area back here. So zooming out once before you jump in can always help, because here's price, here's our inline. Inline puts us slightly above this consolidation zone. So if it closes above D1 and you zoomed out once, you can see that it might struggle to get through this area. Again, that would be up to you. It's already pushing through it though. If it hit up to here though, we have a nice resist, so I'd probably hold off again. If you're picky with these guys and you find the charts that have no resistance, it will pay off for you. If you see something like this makes me nervous, and I will pass on it. But we know that resistance area is there, so let's do it. Just to see what happens as it goes into it, money-wise. So that's right in the middle of the resistance area. And let's move the take profit up before it hits it. So there's about our 30 pips. We'll see what happens. We'll come back to it. I haven't even seen what's happening over on the account history yet. This is H1 cloud. What do we think of the cloud? First thing you want to see when you jump to it. That's going to be your first judge. Hopefully this is going to give enough examples of how we jump to the chart, look at it real quick, and decide. Strong downward momentum that is now, looks like it's forming into weakened momentum and a possible range. If I had to guess, I'd say if it breaches below H1, it's going to drop some more because momentum looks to be building again. But for me, I should have enough choices where I don't need to even take a look at this. So let's try it on 5 minute and see if we can see anything. Here's the 5 minute. It's going red, green, a little, red, green, and then green a little, and now it's going back to red. Didn't know if we have news or not, if that's why. I don't think so. That doesn't look big enough for a news spike. Ranging, so we skip it. On H1 and M5, I would skip that. This is an H1. And here we have a tiny little bit of red, so I guess this is going to be pushing what I would say is a good setup. What do y'all think of the cloud on this one? Tiny. Still snaky. Pretty good. Yeah. It would worry me because we're going green, green, a little bit of red, and then it's a very thin cloud right here. So a thin cloud indicates less momentum. If it's a thick, fat cloud, then we have more momentum going up. We can see there was a quick momentum spike up that took this out of red back into green because it was about to go into ranging. For me, this would be a passage as it's kind of a weak one. Let's take a look at M5. M5, I'm guessing this is going to be a nice setup. So M5, this would have been the entry candle. The cloud on M5 looks a lot better. The crabs and Timmy are braiding, which is a concern for me, but not so much because it's an upward momentum spike. Here was our up, our pullback. So from this point on, we would be looking for the break. We would have had the resistance here. This would not have been the entry candle because it closed right on it. This would have been our entry candle right here when it closed. So we'd be in the trade at right here. And it moved 18 pips. So on a 5 minute, this would have been entry here. There is no downward drop, so there's no way it would have hit a stop loss. This would have been our entry here, and it's already twice what we'd won of 10 pips. It's already at about 18 pips. It's 22 pip move on that, and an actually total move of 43. So, I mean, that was a decent 4.3. Okay, any questions on this one, on why this would be the entry candle and this would not? Because we were waiting for this one to close. Would I get in this now? If we look back, there's nothing holding it back still. Let's jump to 15. Nothing on 15. Nothing on 30. and H1 is still showing it clear. I mean, possibly just from looking at that, if we walked up from M5 to H1 and there's nothing there, I'd bump up to H4, still nothing there, and D1. If we go to the daily, that's where we finally get to see a little bit of resistance. And it's still over here. This is our first point. Seconds around there. This would actually be not too bad of a longer term trade. Can you see why by just jumping through the time frames real quick? M5 is clear, M15 is clear, M30 is clear, H1 is clear, H4 is completely clear. It's not till we get to the daily that we see that this price is entering into a little bit of a resistance zone. So let's say M5 we could do, and remember M5 is going to have its built-in waves. I don't know if I remember to. I don't think I turned the order thing on so I could go back and review the trades. That sucks. That was my bad. We'll do that next time. I have a little thing that'll post. It'll show the orders what happened to them because it'll draw here and it plots a line showing what happened to the trade. I think I forgot. I definitely forgot to turn it on. I just noticed it's not plotting. And let's see. So that's 12. We'll leave it there. Let's go to the next one and we'll come back. Downward cloud. This is a 1 hour. Huge downward cloud. And it's moving up into a green. So right away we know it's a no trade. M5. Let's take a look at it. And ranging. I can see that before I even adjust the sizes. So this is AUD USD. I would be watching AUD USD on TA for a little bit. What can we see right here? This was our breakout candle. This is something you should notice on TA. The same with Itchy. This candle here is a warning candle for TA. Can we see why it's a warning candle for TA? This candle here, let me mark it. This candle here might have fired on it, but it was hitting this previous swing high. And now we're getting an upward momentum. On AUD USD, can anyone see, was this last candle a trigger? Overbought, oversold? And that's on TA, and it's AUD USD. That's why I say having Itchy in mind can help you a lot, because for me this is a warning candle. It closed above, breached, and it hit all these, so I'm looking at this as a warning that it might go up again. Actually, here. I know this is Forex, but I don't want to pass up the opportunity if this is showing us a warning on TA. Okay, so while that's loading up, we're going to jump to AUD USD on TA real quick. Let's look at the next. This is M30. Let's go to H1. And there's something wrong with the colors. I don't know. When I switched to my demo account, something went wrong because these should all be blue. So let's go to the 5 minute immediately. Ranging on 1 hour. I'll say that by cloud. So let's go to the M5. And we have ranging with, this is US CAD. That was our warning candle and a breakout south. Jesus Christ, Wanda's taking forever to load. Did I even click it? I don't know. We'll come back to it. If it pops, it pops. US CAD, no, ranging, broke it, and it's heading south. If you have US CAD on TA up, this would have been your warning candle because it broke lower than everything, and it closed lower. We went from ranging to breaking lower. The white and green candles show potential reversal of direction, yes. So there's change. It always, it will sometimes, like it'll go, sometimes it'll go white and green, and then it'll go right back to blue and head up. There's an alert built into those, so it'll tell you when that happens, though. Jason coded in an alert for those, because originally it didn't have it, and Jason coded in an alert. It's in the pack, and I'll hand it out to you. Just hit me up in Skype. This is a 1 hour. On a 1 hour ranging. 5 minute ranging. This is GBP CAD, so it's not one that I have available to trade. It's kind of an ugly range, but this is a no touch either way on 1 hour, 5 minute. 1 hour. This is Nzd Jpy. This is the one that burnt my ass yesterday. This went from a 2 pip spread up to a 30 some pip spread and stopped me out. I actually, let me just close that. I don't want to ever trade that pair again. I was reading up on it, and the spread on it's really volatile. I should not have been on it anyway. So Nzd Jpy, if you ever have it up, close it, don't use it. The spread is extremely volatile. This is 1 hour AUD NZD. This is one pair I do trade on TA. So what do we have is red, green. The cloud looks weak to me. Let's take a look at it on 5 minute, and we'll also compare it for TA setups. Just looking at that, I wouldn't be trading at Itchy or TA. So this is a non-Forex pair and a non-TA pair, because it's just dead flattish. Everyone see that one, why? For Forex, this is a no-go on 1 hour. The cloud's too thin. On 5 minute, it's a no-go for Forex, and for TA, it's a no-go because we don't have any structure to it. This is a typical summer chart. We can take the time to look at that. That is a beautiful summer piece of crap. No structure at all. And you can kind of see why. I mean, do you see any ABC patterns? It's respecting up here, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles it banged against it. And then it's coming down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles, it's banging against it. This is what makes it extremely difficult to trade, because people get frustrated because they didn't get perfect entry here, lost here, then all of a sudden it consolidates out, and it's just banging up and down against its levels. This is what you want to look for on summer charts and be careful with. I think we're almost through the hourlies. This one, no, ranging, green, red, green, we can pass. Let's check 5 minute on it. Hopefully this is giving enough examples where y'all can do okay on it. On 5 minute, this is just butt fugly. The cloud is so tiny, I would not mess with it. 1 hour, this is AUD CHF. Some of you trade this one actually. This was nice here, but now we're into ranging. Let's check it 5 minute. 5 minute, I would be watching it on TA. It would not be Forex trading. And we're back to some 5 minute trades. So let's go into the account history real quick. Here's our account history for today, what we did. This is screwing around, taking not half bad setups. Okay, that's fucking amazing, because none of them went loss. Holy shit, I was sure that I was going to have some losses. Oh, wait, we did have a loss. Cable was negative 270. Oh, wait, that was... Here, let me just show today's trades, and then we'll run a report on them and see how we did. Last 3 months, custom period. God damn. Okay, so what I'm doing, just so you can see, if you want to run your trades for the day, right-click on this, go to custom period. And today is what? 6/2, so we want to do 6/2 to 6/2. Hit OK. And I have 0 trades. What the fuck did I do? I'm a mess. 2 June. Come on, don't be a hooker. We'll do 6/1. 6/1, 2015 to 6/3. Okay, so this got us 6/2. So let's take a look at the trades real quick that we did. And I am not perfect, guys. This just happens to be a fluke. I really didn't expect it to do this well. Here's our trades that we took. I screwed up and I was running 0.01, but let's just look at on the money management side of it, what happened on 0.1 trades. So total, we took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We took 7 trades. Do we have anything open? All trades are closed. We took 7 trades. Cable was a loss, negative 270. That was a 0.1 trade. I'm guessing the trailing stop loss might have kicked on that one because it should have actually been about $5, I think, or $10 loss. So you can see that, I mean, I'm I'm surprised there. You can see it's not that hard. Wait for your good setups. We were taking half-baked setups on this, and they still mostly turned out pretty good because we were going with the train. Oh, that's right, I did close that manually. I was wondering how the hell I got the weird number on it. That was the first one I did. You're right, you closed manually. The rest of them, these here are .01 trades, and the rest of them are .1 trades. If you want to see if I can switch it to, I can't do it already. You can see it's kind of simple. If you to half-baked trades were turning out okay for us. If you're picky, you can imagine how much better. I can't say how much better because I fucking hit like all of them almost. Paying attention to the, I don't know what to say here. I was expecting to have some losses on these. Charts happen to work nice today for us. I'll say that. We didn't take any extremely stupid trades, although we did take some not fully qualified and half-baked trades. But if taking half-baked trades, we can get results like this in, how long did we do this for? This was like 30, 45 minutes, and we got that many trades off the 5-minute chart. I highly recommend, guys, demo on the 5-minute chart until you can get somewhat this type of results, and this number down here is decent. Now, the 5-minute charts are a bitch to trade on, but they're going to give you the repetitiveness you need to jump up to that 1-hour time frame where you can pull in more pips and be successful at it. As you can see, it's not that difficult, and I was quickly blowing through charts saying not good, good, not good, good, and then once the chart was good by itchy rules, we look at the price action on the candles. And what we're looking for is, does it look like the shit's going to shoot up or shoot down? We're looking for a momentum-based trade. We're using itchy to identify, yes, there is momentum. Then we use the candles to confirm, yeah, it looks like it's going to shoot up. We use inlines to make sure that we have plenty of room to blow through it. I'm going to save the baby steps for tomorrow, I guess. I have nothing to do tomorrow. But other than that, any questions, guys? I was just trying to give an idea of how I trade, and I mean, on 5-minute, I'm very surprised. I haven't traded 5-minute for a while. And again, these weren't fully qualified. I probably wouldn't have gotten as good results because some of these I should have passed on. But any questions? But it does come down to show if you're using a half-educated. If I can do it when I'm picky, and if we can do it live like this and get decent results, and we're doing half-baked trades, you can imagine what happens if you take this seriously. And this, mostly if this was based off of a $100 account, that's about $50 in profit. These would actually have been what, $5.30, and not even sure that this would have been 22, 28. So we would have been 40, 50, 60, about $70 profit. If you guys have questions, don't be afraid to ask. I'm going to post this on the front. Post your charts there with setups and things you like. Post them on the forums. In the TA room, hit me up privately. I'd prefer it that way. I don't want to confuse any of the new people in the TA room. Yeah. Reason being is on a 5-minute chart, remember you get everything moves in cycles. Like, and I don't have it on here. Let's take a look at it over here. Here's our 1-hour candles, and here's our 5-minute. Let's find AUD USD. I wanted to see on that one. Okay, so here is AUD USD, just so we know. Itchy told us that this was our warning candle, and then it did break out. Does everyone see with that stop loss? Typically, let me go first into the question about the hourly. The reason, if we look at this chart, we see the little wave here, and the green and red are, of course, the hourly candles. The hourly candles are relatively flat. I use a smaller because even though the hourly candles look flat, we still have movement inside of them. So if you're on a smaller time frame, your stop loss, it's hard to maintain a good take profit when that down wave moves down 22 pips down, and then we finally get the upward movement. The 5-minute time frame is good for repetition and learning the patterns. Once you're serious, I would say and don't take me wrong, for me on the 5-minute I was struggling. If you can do the 5-minute, go for it. But for me, the 5-minute was used to do repetition and learn. so that I could identify the setups, identify the patterns, and see what I wanted to see. And then I jumped up to the hourly time frame. For me, that's worked. Now, for you, if you want to start on the 1 minute, 5 minute, which I highly don't recommend 1 minute, but if you want to trade off the 5 minute, that's fine. It's fine, works for you. The biggest thing I see with people with Forex is they're not patient enough on the 1 hour. 1 hour literally does drive me nuts. Some days when I get into a 2-3 hour trade, I just want to pull my freaking teeth out. 5 minute trade might match your personality because you're going to be okay. Technically, you should be in and out faster on a 5 minute chart than you would be on a 1 hour chart, because on a 5 minute chart the waves are smaller, so you should be, if you're doing it right, getting in on a wave and out on a wave faster, or in on a trend and out on a trend, because you're going to have your short 5 minute trend up, pull back, and then up some more. So 5 minutes good if you're impatient, and it's good for, like I said, the high repetition and learning. Then once you're proficient at it, you can bump up to 15, 30, 1 hour. Find what suits your personality and what works for you, because if you're impatient on your trades, you're going to be closing them early and you're not going to be hitting your full take profit potential. 5 minutes a good way to start, though, in my opinion, because at first it's going to get you sitting there and staring at a trade for more than 5 minutes. If you've been doing binary options for a while, going a 15-minute trade is going to seem like a freaking eternity. And hell, if you get into an hour-long 5 minute trade, you're going to be like, this sucks. But some people might have the patience for it. They may like, this is great. I'm freaking sitting in a trade for an hour and I'm up $7 or whatever they are. So find what works for you. Again, guys, you can send me charts. I don't mind on this, especially for the summer. When you do decide, tell me what time frame you're going to be on, and then I can help you out with figuring out take profit and stop loss. That's going to come down to an individual level. And I can show you on your charts at an individual level of how to figure out your take profit and stop loss. Inlines is a big help on it, though. Other questions? Now, if you still need help, I'm going to go into a baby step system, which I can't vouch for too much, but one of my other guys uses it. And he uses it with Itchy to do well on the lower time frames. But today I want to at least get a few trades in before my daughter's up. But any questions, anything like that? Anything I totally missed covering? If you do have questions, guys, like I said, hit me up on Skype. You can ask in the Forex room, but don't post charts in there about this. Ask any questions you want, and I'll cover them. But posting charts, we'll see how it goes. I don't know. Do you think it would bug the shit out of people? I'll leave it up to y'all. The room's yours. If you want to be able to post some Forex trades in there, we'll start off. It's fine. If I get a complaint, I'll let y'all know. So if you want to post some Forex trades up in there, that's fine. If I get complaints, then I'll tell everybody. Because actually sending them to me individually with my Skype would turn into a nightmare, because probably half of you I'd never hear from. Or you'd send the message to me, but you'd never hear from me. But any other questions, anything like that, guys? Did this help out a little bit more on how I do my setups? Hopefully I made sense. Cool. And hopefully, I mean, you could see from doing it this way, this was kind of half-baked, and it still was profitable. So being picky will definitely keep you profitable. Other than that, guys, I am going to go get an actual bigger cup of coffee. I made like half a cup. I need more. And I'll be in the Skype room. Enjoy. Hit me up with questions.